Welcome back to the AI Skills for the Workplace course. I'm your guide, September Smith. In this section of the course, we're looking at prompt refinement, making your prompts more powerful. Now that you've got a handle on basic prompting from the last section, it's time to sharpen those skills. We're about to supercharge those simple prompts with 11 powerful refinements, and you can think of these as your secret weapons for extracting even more value from AI. Not only will this turn good results into great ones, these refinements will allow you to tackle a whole other level of tasks in your job or your business. As we saw in the last section of the course, basic prompts can really make short work of some routine business tasks, saving you up to 70% of the time required without AI. But what can you do with more refined prompts? Let's just look at some examples of the more advanced tasks that these prompt refinement techniques will enable. You'll be able to create a detailed marketing strategy, develop a comprehensive project proposal, write a persuasive, customized sales pitch, design a customer feedback survey, write a comprehensive product manual, develop a detailed training curriculum, and so much more. If you have ever tried to do any one of these tasks, you know the time and the effort that's involved. Working collaboratively with AI using prompt refinements to get really powerful outcomes can help you achieve these tasks in hours instead of days or weeks. I want to walk you through 11 refinements you can make to your prompts that are game changers. Any or all of them can be added to a prompt for hyper-defining the output that you're looking for. The first one is role assignment, asking the AI to adopt a specific persona. This can help your AI tailor the tone and perspective of the response. As an example, start your prompt with, as an experienced financial advisor, please provide advice on, and then whatever else you want to finish your prompt with. The next refinement is constraints, limiting factors or requirements, and this is setting boundaries or specific conditions for the AI to work within. For example, create a project timeline that can be completed within a 6-week time frame with a team of 5 members working full-time. That narrows it down really specifically. Output format. This is the desired form of the response you're looking for. Specify how you want the information presented. For example, in a bulleted list, as a 2-paragraph summary, in table format, etc. The next refinement you can be using with your prompts is giving examples. This is providing sample inputs and outputs. If you have something in mind that you want your AI to emulate, share an example with them. Here's how you could insert it into your prompt. Here's an example of the type of response I'm looking for, and then insert your example. The next refinement is evaluation criteria, giving standards for assessing the output. For example, ensure the response is suitable for a general audience and avoids technical jargon. The next refinement is tone or style. Specify if you want a particular writing style for the output. This can include such things as a particular tone, like your own writing style, or some other person's style that you want to emulate. For example, I would like the output of your response to sound like, name a famous person. I have uploaded some examples of my writing style and would like the output to sound like me. It's amazing how AI can learn to emulate your writing style. Or, the last example, a tone should be short and punchy, which sometimes I find to be a good way to rein in the verbose eloquence that sometimes your AI can fall into. Scope. Define the breadth or the depth of the answer that you're seeking. Now, this can help control the volume of output that you have to read through. And another reason that this is important is because it also determines how fast that you are going to be blowing through your token allowance. Even on paid plans with ChatGPT and Claude, particularly Claude, you only have so many tokens in a given time frame. And if your chatbot is responding with pages and pages and pages of responses over and over, you're going to blow through your tokens within a few hours, and you'll have to wait until you can get back on and start using it again. So you can control it with, for example, please keep your responses to 3 to 5 concise sentences, or please keep your responses to just the revised text, not the entire body of your last response. Level of expertise. Specify the complexity level that you need. If you already know the audience that you want the output for and their level of expertise, it's a good idea to include that right in the first prompt so that you are getting appropriate outputs right from the beginning. For example, Please answer like you're explaining to a high school senior, or please write your response like you're addressing or writing for an academic audience. The read twice command, also known as RE2. This is where you request the AI to read the prompt twice before responding. Interestingly, recent research is showing that asking the AI chatbots to read the prompt twice often results in more accurate and thoughtful responses, similar to how humans benefit from rereading complex questions. Interestingly, asking it to read more than twice has been shown to degrade the response, which is the same result we get with humans. So here's an example. For optimal response quality, please read this entire prompt twice before formulating your response. Soliciting questions. Tell the AI to ask for any details it needs to give a better response. The benefit here is that it ensures thorough prompts and it helps uncover overlooked aspects and it leads to a higher quality AI output. And as you recall when we were talking about that genius assistant that you have, unless you tell them that they can ask you questions, they won't. So give them permission to ask you questions. For example, before you begin, please ask me any questions you need answered to complete this task effectively. And the final refinement that you can be making to your prompts that we're talking about here is attaching documents. Upload relevant files for information too lengthy for the prompt, such as documents, spreadsheets, or images for extra information that is just too much to actually be putting into the body of your prompt. For example, based on the attached document detailing our entire product line, please ... This is a complete table summarizing the 11 refinements that you can make to your prompts with examples for each. You can find a downloadable copy in the notes for this section. As I said at the outset of these 11 refinements, you can use all or any of these within your prompts, but use your own judgment as to where it would be beneficial to include them. To really see the power of these refinements, let's build a basic prompt with some of these refinements and see the impact that they can have. So here's a basic prompt example along the lines of what we saw in the previous section on basic prompting. Something that would be useful for almost any business and also many employees and even individuals in this day of personal branding. Just imagine how much time it would save if AI could pump out a social media calendar plan for your business with a content calendar and suggestions for post types. This example has all of the elements of a basic prompt that we looked at in the previous section: the clear objective, specific instructions, and context. If we think back to that genius intern one more time that you have working with you who, at this point, knows nothing about your business, would this request give her enough information to give you everything you need for this social media campaign? Let's run that and see what we get. Okay, so here we are on the ChatGPT interface. Let's paste that prompt in and see what we get. As you can see, it's saying memory updated. This is a brand new account, so it's interesting. It's already starting to build a profile on the user. That's pretty good for a basic prompt. Look at that. How long would this have taken you to do just this and then amass this kind of information for your campaign if you were doing it without AI? That is incredible. Okay, let's go back and look at a more involved prompt. Okay, so in addition to the information that we had in that first prompt, let's give the AI their role, which is telling them what kind of expertise they need to be drawing upon to answer your questions. We've told the AI our budget, which is going to constrain it in the level of how elaborate the plan can be. And we've also given it a clear indication of what output format we want the information to be delivered in, along with some more details around context and specific instructions. This prompt is getting a whole lot better. One thing you need to ensure as you're adding refinement is that you keep any added details to information that is strictly relevant to the goal of the prompt. Extraneous details can confuse and cause the AI to end up going down rabbit holes that you did not intend. Like, for example, say we added some details about the product, like how long the product has been around and where it is gaining popularity. This might be important information for some purposes, but not for this social media campaign. But your AI does not know that, so it will try to take all the details that you've given it into consideration. And where's that going to take things? Not where you want it to go. So, again, only add relevant details to your prompts. Checking out this prompt so far, it looks good.
Nothing that will take AI off on a tangent. Let's run that and see what we get.
Okay, so we're back over at ChatGPT, and as you saw in the basic prompting section of the course, we usually started with a fresh conversation, but this prompt is actually related to the previous prompt, so we can keep this all in the same conversational thread. So let's paste that in here, and let's try this refined prompt. Amassing some of the information, the target audience, the budget, campaign objectives. Okay, what else have we got? We're getting the output format that we asked for. Okay, and it's giving us the performance metrics which we asked for. And we'll do a comparison of all these results later in this section of the course. But as we can see, we're getting better results, more refined outputs for our marketing campaign.
Let's add some more refinements to strengthen the prompt even further and to narrow down the kind of output we'll get. With these additions of the audience's level of expertise, our AI now knows that the content needs to speak to people who are new to the concept of eco-friendly cleaning products, and they may need some education or some persuasion. We added more detail for the clear objectives, expanding the objective to a social media campaign that increases brand awareness by at least 20%. By giving the tone and style of our company, we can ensure that the posts are more authentically representing the company and the products to our target customers. Let's run this prompt and see how things change. Okay, I've reduced the screen size a bit since we've got so much information coming in here. This was the end of our second prompt with the first round of enhancements and refinements. Let's paste in this now third version of the prompt with the additions that we've made, and let's see what we get. The memory is updating. And as we can see, it's just refining what we got. And it seems to be fulfilling all of our requests that we made during the prompt.
So let's look at this monster prompt stuffed with 9 of the refinements that we've looked at. It's getting a little complex, but let's examine this. We've gone 4 refinements further, attaching documentation, giving the AI evaluation criteria for it to ensure that the output measures up to it, telling it to read the prompt twice, RE2, and we gave it instructions to ask us any further questions that it might need to answer to give us exactly what we need. Looking at the elements, you can see the way that each one molds and shapes the direction that the AI will take the request. The response is still going to be a surprise, and hopefully, it'll be in the direction that we desired.
Before we run this prompt to see what it gives us, it should be noted that unless you're a very experienced prompter with expertise in the field that you're prompting about, most people would not run a prompt this complex with so many refinements. For each one of these refinements, there is the possibility of error or misinterpretation on the AI's part. And then it's down to you, the user, to catch those mistakes. But purely for demonstration purposes, and pretending that we're also marketing experts with tons of knowledge and familiarity with this company's products, let's run this prompt and see what kind of results all these refinements produce and how they compare with the previous responses. Okay, back over here for the last time with our jumbo prompt. I'm going to paste this in. That's because it's easier than writing it. And I've also made it kind of tricky for myself because I said that I have attached documentation. So let me get that. Okay, so we'll attach that file, and we're going to make it extra tricky because we're giving them a file in the form of a visual, which our AI should be able to read. So now it has everything it needs. We might want to remind it that it can in fact parse meaning from pictures and images. So we'll just add this particular sentence to remind it that yes, in fact, it can parse information from images, because sometimes our chat GPT or other AI chatbots come back and say, I can't actually do that. So you just have to remind it that yes, it can. All right, let's see what we get. So there's our product list. It's thinking about it, and really quickly. Okay, so I gave myself some homework here. It is asking me these 5 questions that it knows as an expert marketing strategist that it will need to know to optimize this social media campaign. So, really quickly, I prepared these answers. And with these answers and preferences supplied, I'm going to trigger the AI to start generating this highly refined campaign plan. It's updating its memory on all the information and the criteria I've supplied. We've narrowed down the geographical range for the target audience, and it will be drawing on information specific to that demographic. It has updated the theme of the campaign. Nice. It has some very specific post types and suggestions that would save hours of research and planning on a marketer's part. And it's actually giving me a discount code that I could use in the ads and very specific instructions for my KPIs. This is incredible. If you want to see the full output and details of how the AI was able to respond and generate quality content based on the improving prompts, you can find that in the resources provided in this section of the course. To wrap up this experimental demonstration on prompt refinement, I'll share with you AI's own comparative evaluation of the quality and the refinement of the output with respect to marketing strategy and social media campaigns based on the increasing level of detail provided in the prompts. It said that prompt 1 was broad and generic, and it was good for general awareness, but not highly focused, which is not surprising. Prompt 2, with the addition of the audience and the extra context, constraints on the budget, performance metrics, and in addition to the objective as well, it said that the results for that were more practical and results oriented, but still generic. For prompt 3, it said it was getting more relevant with brand voice and it was clearly goal driven, but there was no incentive for engagement or any kind of detail about the audience's geographical base. For our fourth and most detailed prompt, it told us that this was the most refined strategy and was in alignment with the marketing goals. All good points, but this is a self evaluation on ChatGPT's part of its own work. As I usually do in a high stakes project with AI, if there's something that I really want to know is on the money and covering all the bases, I'm going to do cross AI validation, a technique that we're going to get more heavily into in the critically evaluating AI output section of the course. It is a good practice to run your findings through another AI of similar capability. And right now, for me, Claude and ChatGPT are my top 2 trusted chatbots. And that's to get one of your chatbots to evaluate and validate what the other has given you. I ran the ChatGPT results from the previous 4 demo prompts about creating a social media campaign and content calendar through Claude, asking it to evaluate both the output and also the AI that had created this output. Claude seemed to be giving both the content as well as the AI that produced it good marks. Again, we're going to get into AI cross-validation in much more detail later in the course, but I just want to demonstrate it here in this particular example. Now it's your turn to start working with these prompts and refinements. Try a similar experiment with something related to your work experience. Start with a fairly basic prompt, get the results from your AI, and then try another prompt with more refinements to see how the results vary, and hopefully improve. You can go back to the table of refinements for reference in this exercise. And that's it for this section on prompt refinement. 11 ways that you can powerfully improve your prompts to get quality results that are exactly what you want and more. Up next in the following section of the course, we're going to be looking at prompt techniques with respect to business task types. These are going to be some rules of thumb for hacking your work tasks with AI. See you there.